Today, we're going to dive into something really powerful: how to build a family culture of healing and recovery. We'll be looking at how just a few key shifts in our thinking, our internal programming, can completely transform our lives.
So let me ask you, what is the operating system that runs your life? I mean, really think about it. We all have this hidden set of beliefs and assumptions, this kind of software that's always running in the background. It guides our decisions, our reactions, every single day, and honestly, a lot of the time we don't even realize it's there.
So today, we are doing a system upgrade. We're going to install some critical updates to that operating system, focusing on 3 fundamental areas: our prayer life, our family relationships, and our finances. It's time to get rid of that old, buggy software and install a smooth, life-giving new version.
All right, first up, prayer. Let's explore how we can shift our communication with God from something we do at certain times to a state of being we can live in constantly.
You see, the old software treats prayer like a scheduled meeting. It's a duty, you do it at a fixed time. The upgrade, though, is all about constant communion, a 24/7 lifeline. It's a practice sometimes called mukto, or silent prayer. Just think of Nehemiah in the Bible. When the king asks him a massive, critical question, what does he do? He takes just a split second for a silent prayer before he even answers. That's the goal, a continuous, moment-by-moment conversation with God.
Now here's a reality check. This is not an overnight fix. The speaker who shared this idea mentioned it took her 10 years to really master this habit. A whole decade. So the biggest thing to remember here is to be patient with yourself. This is a journey for sure, not a sprint.
Okay, on to our second upgrade, family. If our life is an operating system, then our family relationships, well, that's the foundational code. And when that core code is broken, everything else starts to glitch out. And the source material makes a really vital distinction here. When we talk about honoring your parents, we're not talking about blind obedience, especially not as an adult. It's all about an internal posture, an attitude of the heart. It's a conscious choice that you make to value and respect them, regardless of their flaws or their past actions.
And wow, there's this powerful story from Joyce Meyer. She was abused by her father. Her turning point, the moment healing could even begin, came when she had this incredible realization. Just as she desperately needed God's forgiveness, she had to extend that exact same grace to him. She saw that they were both just sinners. And that profound act of forgiveness, it eventually led to her father's conversion.
So how do we actually build these bonds? Well, it's not always in the big, serious discussions. Surprisingly, it's often in what the source calls trivial talk. The small, everyday conversations. About your day, what you ate, a funny thing you saw. These little daily check-ins are what actually build a deep, resilient connection, so that when problems do come up, the relationship is already strong enough to handle them.
Okay, so here's a really practical piece of homework for you. A way to start healing that foundational code. I want you to write a physical letter to your parents, but here's the crucial rule. You have to focus only on what you're grateful for. No complaints, no hurts, no disappointments. This simple act of intentional gratitude can start to rewire the entire relationship.
All right, now for our final upgrade, and this is often the trickiest one: money. The source frames this whole thing not as an issue of having enough, but as an issue of getting the power structure right in our own minds.
Let me share a quick story that makes this so clear. The speaker's husband was at a service, getting ready to go on an outreach trip. He looks in his wallet, and he has exactly $7 left. And this was money he'd specifically set aside for something he needed. But in that moment, he felt this strong nudge from God to put all of it in the offering.
So after a bit of a struggle, he did it. He put the $7 in. And get this, right after the service, the pastor walks up and just hands him an envelope. Inside, $700. A donation that had come in specifically for their trip. That's a 100-fold return that just demonstrates this powerful principle of faith over finances.
And this is the key, getting that power structure right. At the very top, you have God, the infinite source. Then there's us, people, the valued stewards. And way down at the bottom is money. It's just an obedient tool. When we see money as a tool that serves us instead of a power that we serve, financial anxiety just starts to lose its grip.
Here's how this plays out in real life. Let's say your kid wants an expensive doll. The world's logic says, that's too expensive. We can't. What does that teach? Scarcity, limitation. But kingdom logic responds totally differently. It says, okay, that's a big goal. Let's pray about it and start saving for it together. You see the difference? One teaches there's not enough. The other teaches faith, patience, and trust in God's provision.
This is also about not letting stuff intimidate us. There's this great story where the speaker was once loaned a Mercedes and felt incredibly self-conscious, worrying about what people would think. And then she felt this clear message from God. Don't be intimidated. It's just a car. It's just a tool to get from point A to point B, not some symbol that defines your worth.
So, when you put all these pieces together, the upgrades for prayer, family, and finances, you really do start to run on a new operating system. You move out of a mindset of scarcity and brokenness and into a lifestyle of real abundance and healing.
So let's just quickly recap our system upgrade. For prayer, we're shifting from a scheduled duty to a 24/7 connection. For family, we're healing those foundational bonds through honor, forgiveness, and communication. And for money, we are restoring the proper hierarchy. God is the source, and money is just the tool.
So, the software update is available. It's ready to go. The only question left is, which installation will you run first? Because that's where the real transformation begins. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.